Let's take a look at the latest MaxPreps top 25 high school football rankings. We had some movements in the top 10. Chandler's now inside the top 5 after beating Pinnacle 64-0. Grayson dropped a spot after needing double overtime to beat Mill Creek, while Miami Central enters the top 10 ahead of their season opener against number 9 Northwestern in a couple of weeks. We now welcome in our MaxPreps experts. That's tough to say, gentlemen. Joining me now, Director of Programming Steve Montoya, as well as National Football Editor Zack Poff. Gentlemen, we had some changes in the top 10 this week, but the best team remains the same. IMG Academy, they hold the top spot after defeating Duncanville and improving to 5-0. Zack, just how dominant has this IMG team been?
Now, listen, I might get some flack for saying this, but I strongly believe that this IMG Academy squad is the best they've had in school history, better than that 2016 team that was led by Kellen Mond, Dylan Moses, Grant Delpit, Jamon Osbin. I strongly believe that this IMG team we're seeing this year is better than we've ever seen. And they proved that in Texas this week with a big-time win against Duncanville. Going on the road to Texas and winning that big is no easy task. And what J.J. McCarthy is doing at quarterback this year, a 5-star Michigan commit, is truly remarkable. He's got a bunch of dudes to get the ball to, led by Ja'Cory Brooks, Alabama commit. They've got the best offensive line in the country, in my opinion. And then you look at what they're doing on defense. I mean, they fly around and make plays, force turnovers. This team really doesn't have any holes. The most complete IMG team I've ever seen. And, you know, they're most likely going to finish the year at number 1 if they keep playing like they did on Saturday at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas, the home of the, you know, old Texas Rangers ballpark. But I don't see IMG losing this year. And, you know, they're going to get that number 1 spot locked up if they keep doing what they did on Saturday.
Yeah, and for me, it shows me that IMG is built to win a high school national championship and prep these kids for the next level. I mean, these are kids coming from all over the country to train and go to a world-class campus. I mean, they have 26 players that have 3 stars or better. Most high schools dream of having 1. On the other hand, Duncanville plays by a little different rules. I'm not saying Duncanville is not talented. They definitely are, but they are built to win a state title. We're talking about a team from Texas that is arguably the number 2 team in the entire state, getting beat 41-14. So to me, this wasn't Florida versus Texas, the bragging rights on Twitter and anything like that. To me, this was just a powerhouse program in IMG playing Texas, and the Texas team was just on the shorthand there for sure.
Well, Steve, back in the day, they used to say, hey, if you're the best team in Texas, you're the best team in America. I guess that doesn't hold water anymore when you bring in the state of Florida. Speaking of Florida, number 3 St. Thomas Aquinas is getting ready to open their season this week against True Prep Academy. Steve, how excited are you to see these guys in action?
Yeah, it's good to see St. Thomas Aquinas get off the ground. There was questions or not if they would play because Broward County wasn't allowing teams to play. So this Florida school is getting a little slower start, but it's fun to see them get going. This is a school that has produced the most NFL talent. Former Raiders, just this NFL season alone, 11 former players are in the NFL since 2001. 23 players from that school were drafted. So this is one of the most talented schools in the entire country. They're consistent. They win state titles. And Zach, they could win another one this year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they returned a lot of dudes last year that, you know, they won the 7A state title. It was the 11th state championship in school history. Tied Bowles High School for the most ever in Florida high school football history. And, you know, it all starts with the quarterback coming back. I was impressed with Zion Turner last year as a sophomore. He won that job before the season, and he balled out. You know, he was a sophomore All-American, and he's going to have another big year. I expect him to take a little bit of leap this year and to be even better this year. You got Anthony Hankerson at running back. He's a big-time dude. But defense is where the money's made for St. Thomas Aquinas. They got Dallas Turner coming in. He's a 2021 Alabama commit. You got Tyreek Sapp on the defensive line. The secondary's loaded. You know, they got a bunch of dudes. And Jaden Hood transferred over, too. He's a Michigan commit at linebacker. I expect Aquinas to compete. And, you know, they're going to have a good chance to win that 12th state title in school history with the talent they have. And also also, too, I love what Roger Harriet's doing as head coach. He's not just a great football coach, but he does a great job of teaching these kids life values and to do more than just play football. I love what he's doing for the Aquinas program, but they're pretty good at football, too.
So that's the way things look at the top of the rankings. Let's look now at 11 through 20. We mentioned Duncanville earlier. They fall all the way down to 13th from 6th after the loss to IMG. We also welcome American Heritage to the top 20. They're 3-0 on the season. Moving now to teams 21 through 25. Just about everyone moved up a spot, but we did have a new team enter the rankings in Austin Westlake as Southlake Carroll drops out. Zach, tell us what we need to know about the newest team in the top 25.
They got this kid, Cade Klubnik, at quarterback. He's going to join the likes of former Westlake great quarterbacks like Drew Brees, Nick Foles, Sam Ellinger. I love what this kid's doing at the quarterback position as a junior. Last year as a sophomore, he had to split time at quarterback. Now he's got the keys to the car, man. He's driving about 95 on the freeway. And it's nice to have this dude, Jaden Greathouse, at wide receiver. He's only a sophomore. Now, Westlake's produced a lot of NFL talent. Jaden Greathouse was the first ever freshman to start for Austin Westlake. That just shows you how great this kid is. Last year, he had nearly 800 yards receiving, 10 touchdowns, and I love the combo that they have. They have a great offensive line. The defense is lights out. Todd Dodge is one of the best high school football coaches, not just in Texas, but in the country. You know, back in the day, he built Southlake Carroll into one of the most dominant programs in the early to mid-2000s, and he's starting to do the same thing at Austin Westlake. Last year, they won their first state title since Drew Brees led them to one in 1996, and they're going to have a chance to repeat in Texas this year with the talent they have, led by Klubnik and Jaden Greathouse.
Yeah, and for me, I'm looking ahead, and I'm looking ahead to the wild ride we're about to go on because some states right now are already in playoffs. Ohio is going to be in week 2. Alaska's finishing up October 24th. We may crown state champions across the country from October all the way into May. So it's going to be a wild ride in high school football for sure. Yes, we're talking about playoffs already. Fun thing about it, we got high school football almost year-round.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Great job breaking down the rankings. As always, Zach and Steve, appreciate the time. Well, quite the week we have coming up in high school football. Some games to look forward to right here. Cathedral and Center Grove face off Friday night in Indiana's biggest game of the year, while Southlake Carroll looks to bounce back after losing to Rockwall when they face Denton Guyer. Make sure to head over to MaxPreps.com for game previews and breakdowns of all the action.